For the next 3 months, no poultry will be imported to Guam.
What we're doing is we're going to postpone, we called for 90 days and I think and hope that it will be less than that, postpone the importation of poultry from the mainland United States. Still okay from Hawaii. And that's because of a recent outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza in the United States, which is quite a rare event.
Dr. Tom Poole is a territorial veterinarian under the Department of Agriculture. And while the last time an outbreak of this kind occurred back in 1984, he says the department is taking the precautionary measure effective until May 9th.
Well, most of the poultry that is imported is birds for, they're called brood fowl. It's basically fighting chickens. That's most of the birds that are imported into Guam. And since 1 October, we've imported already over 1,000 birds so far. So quite a few birds come in. And that's most of the poultry that come in. Not a lot of laying chickens and that sort of thing that are imported. So this is most of it.
So how concerned should we be here at home?
There's really no, that's really the great concern here, is that there's really no risk to humans normally unless you're working with chickens. So if you're working in an egg farm or a broiler house or with fighting chickens, then yeah, you do have some risk of contracting avian influenza from an infected bird. But for the tourists, for the rest of us, it's zero. And for consuming chicken, as long as you're cooking the chicken, it's zero. And those birds aren't going to get into the chain. Those birds are all USDA inspected anyway, so zero concern about eating chicken.
HPAI viruses are spread by wild birds that migrate from Canada to the U.S. The backyard farms where most of the fighting birds are raised on the mainland are particularly vulnerable. Had one made its way to Guam, the mortality rate of Guam's poultry could approach 100%. And while the temporary ban is only a precautionary measure and the risk is small, the potential, Poole says, could be devastating.
We can protect against, and even though the risk is small, we can eliminate that risk, hopefully fairly painlessly.
So better safe than sorry.
I think so.
In the meantime, poultry operations and breeding on Guam can continue. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Ken Quintanilla.